often drugs are not the problem. It is a way for people to cope with the pain. Hi, my name's Brian, and I'm a counsellor with Addictions Recovery Singapore. We specialise in conducting family-based interventions for people suffering from all addictions. One of the biggest challenges is definitely the stigma that is attached to substance abuse. People often blame the user for using drugs, and they often fail to recognize that sometimes it's the drugs that is a coping mechanism for masking a deeper underlying pain. When you are under the influence, when it's obvious to those around them. For example, someone who is generally calm may exhibit signs of aggression or emotionality. A second sign that's not so obvious is perhaps social withdrawal. Social withdrawal looks like the person being less willing to interact with other people, being alone by themselves in their room more, even going to the toilet more in some instances. Use techniques such as CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and motivational interviewing, where we identify and address key issues, key thought pattern in a client, and we help them to see where their thinking might be not so healthy, then try to substitute a healthier coping mechanism for them. We will go through with the client what are some of the counseling boundaries, what to do in case of like harm to yourself or harm to others. So standard safety protocols lah. We'll also discuss how the counseling journey might look like and build rapport at the same time. Some of the risk factors that make them more susceptible to drug use. For example, it could look like things like early exposure to drug use, which normalizes it as a coping mechanism. We also look at some of the things that perhaps perpetuate the problem. Maybe easy access to drugs, maybe the neighbor downstairs is like a drug dealer, for example. We'll also be working with them to identify what is the next step that they are willing to take. A clear goal that is small enough to not be overwhelming but big enough to be challenging. They can work on that in the meantime, in between sessions. They're effective because people knowing that there is someone there at the end of the road for them creates sort of a safe space that enables people to open up more about their problems. Once you gather more information about the problem, that's when you're also able to understand where they can seek help from. Some common resources will include Addictions Recovery, National Helpline for vape use also lah.